and welcome to the Scary Goals Club. I am your host, Hazel Robertson, and I believe that to make the impact that you know you are called to make in the world, it requires setting bigger, scarier goals and then becoming the person who creates them. That is what I am here to show you how to do. That's what we're diving into with mindset, tools, tricks, really simple, practical, actionable steps you can take and start applying straight away. Because whatever you believe, we have this one life that we definitely know about. Start making the impact you know you want to make in the world. Fear is not a reason to stop. We keep going. We work through the fear. That is what we do in the Scary Goals Club. So come on in, come join, hit subscribe, and let's get started. Hi, and welcome to the Scary Goals Club podcast. Now, I don't know if you can hear this. Maybe my editing will be able to reduce it, but certainly I sound like, to me, very nasally. I do have a little bit of a cough as well. I'm just getting over sinusitis. So bear with me. I know it might sound a bit like I've got stuff up my nose because I do. I have a lot of snot up there. It's coming out. It's easing as if you really care and need to know that. But it's I don't know if you've ever had sinusitis. I never had it before until like literally this time last year. And it is rough. Luckily, I think so last year, it was maybe 10 days or so of being like, my ears are squeaking. I've got this pressure like under my eyes and in my head. I can't really like taste or smell anything. I can't breathe. It's really pressury. I feel really unwell and really tired. And it took me about 10 days of that, of being like, I'm actually not getting better, to finally go and do something about it. This time it was only like a few days. I managed to catch it over the weekend and I was like, I'm not feeling well. Went to the pharmacy and got antibiotics and all these like steroid things. So it is clearing up. And I'm just so grateful that I listened to my body and was like, I think it's sinusitis. And obviously I had a reference point of having it last year, but like, rather than being like, it's fine, I'll push through, which I think is what I did last year of like, I wasn't this time last year. I was not as in touch with my body. I was like a little bit disconnected from it. It was why I was like getting ill quite a lot. And this time I really listened to it. It was like, I'm going to trust my gut and my intuition. And sure enough, that's what it was. And that's what it is. And now I'm like, the antibiotics will be finishing tomorrow and I'm feeling so much better. I sound terrible and I'm still a bit tired. So like, I haven't started running again. And even with the walks, I'm like, I managed a tiny little walk today, but then was like, okay, that's actually enough. I don't want to push it and be really tired for the rest of my day. So I'm easing back into it. But thank you for bearing with me with my nasally sound for this episode. And today, I wanted to dive into something that, like, it's literally everything. I mean, there's so many parts to like the process that I teach and the tools that I teach with my clients, but like this tool alone is like absolutely at the foundation of it. And it's something that we don't get taught. We don't get taught, well, I certainly never got taught it growing up. And that is to actually be present with however we are feeling and process it through. And if you're anything like me, growing up, we weren't taught like it's okay to feel sad. Like it's okay to feel disappointed. It's okay to have these big, intense feelings of like anger or frustration. And it's like, especially as ADHDers or neurodivergent folks, it's like we feel deeply. We have big feelings and we feel all of it. And oftentimes, because we've had these big emotional responses, I know for me, like growing up, I wasn't really taught how to properly regulate my emotions and like that it is okay to feel a certain way. I literally went through, it wasn't until 2019, I can't think, so what was that, 6 years ago? How old am I now? I'm 40 this year, 39 now. So I was maybe like 33, something like that, when I was in therapy for the first time. And the therapist was like, oh, blah, 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 and how you're feeling. And literally, I didn't have the language for it. It was like good or like bad or like meh. Like sometimes I'd feel just a bit numb and not feel anything. Other times it's like, oh, not good. But I didn't know like what the nuance of the different feelings were. And I didn't understand like that they were signals. I thought it meant something had gone wrong. And we know so many more things now about like our bodies and about emotions and about being present with them and how that all works. So it's like we know more now. And this is something that I'm like so grateful that I have the tools to then pass on to my son of like, and it still triggers me sometimes, like when he's having these like big intense feelings because I wasn't allowed to really be present with them. And so I get really triggered and it's almost like being present and then being able to be calm for him so he can feel safe. And it's like, it's okay to feel that way. Like whatever's happening now, like it's okay and it's totally normal. And being present, not dismissing our feelings, but actually being present with them, giving ourselves what we need, but actually processing through them. And like this was never something again I was taught to do. But it's like, it's like, oh, be with your feelings. But it's like, but how? How do you actually do it? And I will talk through that today of like how to actually do that. But like for me and for so many of my clients, like when they start doing this work, it can feel a bit scary because feelings feel uncomfortable and we're used to pushing them away and then they come back louder and we're used to avoiding them with like procrastinating, scrolling, avoiding doing the thing, like not going after our dreams, not stepping up in a bigger way, not raising our hand in a meeting, not putting ourselves forward, not going after our scary goals, overeating, over scrolling, just avoiding. And what we're actually avoiding in that moment is like a feeling, an uncomfortable feeling that simply we have never been taught how to actually be present with. We've never been taught that it's okay to feel and that however we're feeling, like it's actually just completely normal. It's a normal physiological response of our body. It doesn't mean anything's gone wrong. Our body is just responding to something that we're thinking, to what's going on. We're having a chemical reaction in our cells and that everything is actually okay. And it can feel uncomfortable because it's like, oh, I don't want to like sit with it. And actually, when we resist and avoid feelings, they keep coming back. They're almost like, wait, there's something that like I need to tell you here. Like, you're not listening. It's like if you imagine like a kid that's like wanting to tell you something or feeling a certain way, and it's like they will scream or cry until feel like they are heard. Like I have had this with my son recently where it's like getting really upset. And actually what he needed was me, and which is what I did, like went down to his level and was like, you're feeling this, aren't you? Because you wish this had happened and it didn't. And that's why you're feeling frustrated. Da, 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 da. And he's like, yeah. And it's like, yeah, I totally get it. Like, I would feel frustrated if that had happened as well. And I really wanted this thing and it didn't turn out like that. Like, I totally get it. It's like, it's totally normal to feel frustrated. Or if he's sad, it's like, it's normal to feel sad. It means you care about something and you miss it and it's not been around for the day or whatever. It's like, if he's at nursery and he's like, oh, felt sad. And it's like, it's totally normal to feel sad. It means that we have so much fun together and like we love each other so much and now we're separate and like of course you're going to feel sad, like it's totally normal, like nothing's gone wrong. And it's like, okay. And it's amazing even like him saying it back of like how he's feeling, but also validating himself of like it's normal, like totally normal to feel sad, or like it's okay. And even if mummy's feeling a certain way, he can be like, it's okay, mummy, like, and like will give me a hug rather than like, why are you feeling this way? Like, you shouldn't be feeling this way. And like, this again often is what we have been told or taught as kids. And so we then tell it to ourselves when we're adults is like, I shouldn't feel this way. I should. And again, we're also like sold by society and advertising and Instagram and whatever social media of like the highlight reels and da da da. And it's like, I should be feeling happy all the time. It's like, that's literally never going to happen. It's a complete lie. Like we cannot possibly feel happy all the time because then if we didn't experience sadness and like disappointment and frustration and grief and loss, how would we be able to experience awe and joy and wonder? Like there is contrast because of that. And it's like we want to be able to experience things like that are not right in the world. We want to feel them and not just be like, everything's just okay. This is just how it is. It's like, no, some things are not right. And it's like when we think instead of emotions as being signals, that's when it makes it easier to actually be present with them. But again, when I started this work, and like, again, when my clients start this work, first of all, they've never been taught this. And second of all, it can feel really scary because we're like, what if I am present with how I'm feeling, like really present with it? And what if I get stuck there? So you might be having this fear as well, is like, if I sit and process through emotions and like allow myself to feel, what if I never come out? What if I just like fall into this emotional pit and into this hole and like that's just it and I'm in here, like, and that's it. And I just want to offer the opposite is true. And it sounds counterintuitive, but I'll explain like why it works. When we are actually present with how we feel, when we can just sit, tune into our body, describe what's there, like be present with ourselves and breathe and process it through. And sometimes it will mean we cry. Sometimes we yawn. I often yawn a lot when I'm processing emotions. Or sometimes I cry. I'll be like processing them and like tears will be streaming. And it's just like this release of energy, release of emotions. And when we can process them through, they just like dissipate.
it's the most amazing thing. Like, again, we were doing this work and it's like clients are will describe it as almost this, it's just like melts away from their body, or like a bird like flying away from their chest that's been fluttering. I sometimes feel like it just almost like drop out of the bottom of me. It's almost like melting away, or like water's running down and putting out the fire. Like, it's quite amazing when we actually connect with our body and really process it through. Like the imagery of just what has been in there, the emotion, like just easing and releasing. And it's almost like, so our when we experience an emotion, it is completely normal. It is a physiological response. Our like brain, body, amygdala is like scanning for danger, has picked up on something that it thinks might be danger because it's unknown or something's happened in the past. And it sends like this signal, and then our cells literally will change and adapt. And we will have like cortisol will increase, or adrenaline, and we will go into kind of fight or flight. Maybe our palms will get sweaty, our mouth will get dry, our heart rate will go up, and we will be on like high alert. And again, this is from like, if you imagine millennia ago, it's like, see some danger, there's an animal, or I'm going to be separated from the tribe, or something's going to happen. And it's like, okay, body must respond. And so it's so instant. And it's almost like our brain is alerting our body, like getting ready to run, like there is a threat. The difference now is that often the threats are not actually, they're not going to kill us. There can be just like imagined threats that we are thinking about doing a presentation, and we will still get the same palm sweating, heart rate racing, dry mouth, being like, oh, like the panic, or we're thinking about doing, or like a meeting or like a big task. And it's like this panic, this fear will come up, and we will feel it in our body. And oftentimes we'll go and avoid and not do the thing and like go and procrastinate and do something else rather than being present with how we're actually feeling. And so because we haven't like processed it through and told our body that like actually we're safe, we're not in any danger right now, our brain is still like danger, danger, danger. And so the emotion is still there trying to get our attention. It comes back, it comes back. And in like when we actually sit and process it through, we're essentially telling our body and our brain, like, actually, I'm okay right now. And so we can go back down into like a rest and digest state. Like we can calm ourselves back down. That's when it's like the ideas and the creativity will come, because we're not in survival mode, getting ready to like run away from something. It's like we're telling our brain, our body, like, actually, everything's good right now. Like, I'm okay. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then our digestion goes back online, and then we feel relaxed, and like all the creativity comes. And it's almost like, if you imagine, if you have a dog or you see dogs and they like something will happen, they sniff another dog, or there's a bit of a chase or something, and they're a bit like, oh, or they get a bit of a fright, they will then afterwards like shake themselves out. That is them processing through and releasing an emotion in real time. They're not, but dogs are different. They're not like imagining some fear over and over again and like doing that. They're a bit more like, they will respond in the moment to like a perceived threat. And then they shake themselves up after, and then they're like feeling calm again, and then they're getting on with whatever it is. Processing and like sitting with our feelings is like exactly that. It's like we're signaling to our brain and body, everything's okay. We can get back to focusing on whatever we're doing, coming up with all the ideas, being who we are, showing up in the world, whatever the thing is. And this is like at the key, like being present with our feelings is key to so many things. And it's almost like with my son, when I actually was there and acknowledged him and was like, this is how you feel. And it was like, made him feel safe, like, oh, it's okay. Everything's okay right now. Then that was it. It was like, okay. And the emotion like released, and that was good. And he was like back to playing and doing what he wanted, rather than being like crying or upset, or like really in it, like in experiencing the emotion. It was like, oh, I can like, everything's okay right now. And it's the same, like we can do that to ourselves. It's just that we've often not been taught how to do it. And this is so key if you find yourself with anything like procrastinating on something. I know this is something that's huge for me, huge for my clients, is like putting off stuff that we know ultimately we want to do. Again, whether it is our big scary goal that we want to go after, or whether it's like something for a meeting, or something like some big task that feels really scary and really daunting. The reason that we are putting it off is always the same. It's not about the task itself. It's about the story that we're attaching to it and how that's making us feel. So we're maybe telling ourselves it's really big, or we don't know what to do, or it's like it's gonna take a long time. And it feels like this big, heavy thing. We have this big feeling about it. And then because we've not been taught how to like calm our brain down and be like, actually, everything is okay, everything is safe right now, and then come back to our creative thinking, we go into panic mode and oftentimes we just avoid and we like do something else, or we're like doing the quick wins, or like busying ourselves with something else, or like having conversations with people rather than actually doing the thing that we know ultimately we want to do that's like gonna help us next week, not be like, now we have to do this thing and I only have like a day to do it, or whatever it is. And so again, the key, like procrastination, anything like that, procrastination is just a voluntary delay to something we know ultimately we want to do. Any type of procrastination is under feeling. It's just not being present with our feelings. And so the way through like so many bits of our life, whenever we are stuck or we're not moving forward, we're not doing the thing we're avoiding, it's always always the same. We're not willing to be present with an uncomfortable feeling because we've not been taught how. Like that's as simple as it. Or we've not built the practice of actually doing it and being like, it's okay to actually do this. But most likely because we've not been taught how. So it's easier to just want to like avoid until it's the last minute. And then we're like, we panic and we like go and get it done. And when that happens, I have done this literally like so much. I have so many examples of this, of like my master's thesis, of like writing it in 3 days in the micro lab, like underground computing lab, or like handing in like huge consulting, like project funding bids worth millions of pounds, literally a minute before a deadline. And it's the same because whenever I was avoiding doing something on the thing, I don't know what the master's thesis would have been, something like, I'm going to fail, I'm not going to do this, whatever the story was, there was some really big uncomfortable feeling and it felt really intense. I didn't know how to actually process it through and be present with it. So I didn't know how to bring my body and brain back to this like thriving, like creative, like flowy place where like all the ideas would come and everything felt like it just flowed. I didn't know how to do that. Like I didn't have those tools. I do have them now, and this is what I teach my clients, and they're amazing. But I didn't have those tools then. And so I literally like avoided it and would just do anything else, including Googling online, like, do I have ADD? It was ADD at the time. Do I have ADD? Doing all the assessments, being like, I think I have ADD. And we will find amazing things to avoid, even like doing washing, doing other things that like feels really good and productive, but ultimately it's not the thing we wanted to do. It's not moving us where we want to go. And it's like because we're doing something because we're avoiding something else. And we know that deep down, and it just feels rubbish because it's like, that's not who we want to be. That's not who we know we can be. And it's only because we've not been taught this skill of how to process our feelings and how to be present with them, and that it's okay to be present with them, and that every feeling is okay is simply a signal. It is not good or bad. And like the more we can just be curious and be present with how we're feeling, like that's what changes everything. And so, how to do this? So, if you find yourself avoiding something, this is how to like kind of move through it. And this is how to be present with your feelings. So, you want to like ideally close your eyes. And again, a lot of times if I've been working with clients and they're like, it's like, how are you feeling? How does it make you feel? And they go to their brain or they look up, it's like, they're thinking about it. And again, I used to do this, like no shame, no judgment, but like to understand how we are feeling requires closing our eyes and going into our body, because we can't intellectualize how we feel. Then we're like trying to guess. It means we're not actually feeling it. So when we can close our eyes, go into our body, and then it's really just starting to be present and noticing sensations like, does it feel tight? Does it feel heavy? Like, what do you notice in your body? Where are you noticing it? What does it like feel like? And then even can you put a name to it? And when we can start to label and put a name to how we are feeling, it separates us from the feeling. It's the same with thoughts, when it's like when we can write them down and look at them, be like, oh, that is a story my brain is attaching to whatever the thing is. That's not true. I can decide if I want to think something differently. And that's also not me. It's the same with our feelings. Like we are not our feelings or emotions. They are just patterns of energy, and we can notice them and be present with them. That's when we can start to shift it and be like, oh, it's actually okay to feel this way. And then the final piece, like once we have a label, is just telling ourselves like it's okay to feel this way. Just like I do to my son. It's okay to be sad. Of course you're going to feel sad. It makes sense. Or like it's okay to feel disappointed. You wanted that outcome in that time and like it didn't happen. Like that's okay. It's okay to feel disappointed. Like nothing's gone wrong. And the more that we can do that to ourselves, and it's almost like if I imagine like a little me like inside, and it's like I'm saying that to her. The more that we can do that to ourselves, the easier it is to just be present with whatever's going on. And then the final piece is just taking lots of deep breaths, like breathing through it as long as it takes. Sometimes it can be as short as like literally 90 seconds and it'll ease and it's like, whew, just needed a few deep breaths. And then sometimes it can take days, it'll keep coming up. And it's just when we can actually be present with it and just breathe through it, close our eyes and just really be present with it. Like that's when it will start to shift. And it's not trying to like rush it or change it or wish we weren't feeling that way or wish it would go away. It's like, it makes sense that we're feeling this way. Of course it does. And it's okay. We don't need to change it. And when we can do that, literally it starts to ease. It's the same with anything you're putting off, anything big. It feels really big and heavy and scary, or that you're avoiding, or you're like got dread. The same thing. It's just like being present with it. And it's so amazing. Like I love teaching all these tools, but like this one in particular, I just love this and visualization, I think, are like two of my favorite tools that like I use the most with clients because they're so powerful. It's like processing through how we are now and being present. And then we come back into that more open creative state. And then it's like visualizing the future we want and focusing our direction on that. And it's like, even like, I love all of my clients, all my past ones and any future ones as well. But like one of my clients, all my clients are having amazing ones at the moment. This one I've asked if I can share. So I've asked, this is shared with permission. One of my clients, when she first started a few weeks ago, was like, super smart, amazing at what she does. Didn't quite see her own brilliance, I don't think. I think she's starting to see it now. But if you're listening, you're starting to see it. But was like in a state of panic and fear around meetings, around deadlines, around deliverables, around like client work, like any of that stuff. It was like approaching it very much from a like, I don't have enough time. This is this really big task. Everything like was just felt really rushed and last minute. And it was like always behind, always kind of like scrambling and just not feeling like her, just in this state of panic, not like her true flowy, just like self where she gets to just be who she is. And again, with the coaching and like not only like processing through the panic, processing through the fear, and the rewiring for brain that we're doing as well, and like the visualization, but like able to bring herself into a place where like before meetings, she's just so calm. She's so prepared. She's so relaxed. She's had the same amount of time that she's always had, but like her internal state has changed. She notices if the panic or the anxiety or anything, the fear comes up, and she's present with it. She does it like I've got like a guided meditation that I give to clients so they can like take it away and like listen to it in their own time as well. And so she will do that like before a meeting, ground herself back down, and then imagine like the best case of the meeting. And it's like she's going in just feeling relaxed. She's like stepping up and being like, these are the things, but we're not doing them now. Like we're pushing this to next week, and like this is this and this. And everyone's like, yeah, okay, amazing. This is great. And just, or some meetings even are ending early because she's like, cool, this is the thing, and we're going in with this. And she's just has so much more creativity, so much more flow, and life feels like sparkly and magical. And like she is just living in the way that she wants to be living. And like everything is just falling into place. Everything is just flowing and feels so much easier because she's not getting caught up in the survival part of our brain, which wants to put us into fear and panic and scarcity of like, not enough, not enough, and that. And it will still go there. All of our brains will go there. But now she has the tools to actually bring it back. And she's practiced it. She's building the habit of being like, oh, interesting. And literally within like, I think meditation is like 6 minutes. 6 minutes. It's like emotions released. It's feeling calm. Everything feels good. Suddenly the solution for whatever she'd been working on, or like, oh, we don't need to do this thing right now. Or like, oh, we can do it in this different way. Or, oh, I'll delegate this, or I'll reach out to this person. Like all of those ideas, all of the other like creative, strategic thinking that like we just don't have access to when we are in survival mode, when we are panicking, when we are rushing, and when we're just like feeling like we're spinning our wheels and we're on the back foot and we're just like behind all the time. Like we cannot access creativity then. We can't access our most amazing thinking, and like we can't be our flowy selves because we're in survival mode. Our bodies literally shut down all of that. It's like, I don't need creative thinking right now. I need to get out of this situation where I'm going to die, because again, that's what our brain thinks. So it's like all of that is offline when we're in survival mode. And instead, when we can just be present with however we're feeling, be kind to ourselves, not push it away, give ourselves space, it's like everything just like happens so much easier. And I'm going to do a separate podcast episode on this, but like this is also how you bend time. So when you like, if you imagine how much time we spend avoiding something, and then sometimes we do, we're like, that literally wasn't that bad. Because the thing itself, we're not even looking at it because the story around it and the emotions that we have associated with it feels so heavy. Again, we weren't taught how to manage our emotions and process them through. And so we just are like, oh, can't look at it right now. And then we spend all this time not doing the thing, and then we do it in like 2 seconds. And again, when you can spend literally a few moments processing through whatever your feelings are, regulating your emotions, coming back to a really like flowy, relaxed, easeful state, we just do the thing, or we reach out to the person, or we make the phone call, or we send the text, or we post the post, or we do the proposal, or we apply for the job, or we start the podcast, or we like whatever the things are, don't feel so scary because we're not avoiding the fear. We're not avoiding the panic. We're not holding ourselves back and being like, fear means stop, panic means stop. It means something's gone wrong. It's like, oh, interesting. My body's having a survival response. I will be present with it and process it through. And now I will go do the thing. It's wild and it sounds so simple, and it is. And yet we don't get taught this. And it's literally, and then we're reacting and we're avoiding and we're just like in this place that feels heavy. And it is heavy because being in a survival state, like when our body's producing stress hormones and cortisol and adrenaline, and we're just like, and I say this from experience, this used to be me. Like I just had this low level stress and anxiety in the background of like everything I did was rushed. When our body is producing those chemicals, it's really taxing on our system because literally we're getting ready to run away from something or fight something. When and like we're not digesting, our body's not really working properly, everything's been paused to go into this, like respond to this danger. And when we become in that state over and over again, that's when we can get ill. That's when like things feel really hard. We're tired. We're just like not feeling like ourselves because we're not ourselves. We're like in this ready to respond to threat mode rather than being like, I can tell my body that everything is actually all good. And now I can go get on with the amazing like impact that I'm creating in the world and the magic that I'm making, and like actually focus on that and not let the feelings that normally we would just avoid and think that it meant something has gone wrong. We can just be like, oh, interesting. What's going on here? How can I be with myself? It's amazing. And if you know that you want to take this work deeper as well, and you're like, wait, this is the missing piece in my life, which I promise you, it's probably one of the missing pieces. Come and coach. Like, come and jump on a call. Let's chat through coaching. Honestly, if you feel that like everything just, you always feel like you're behind and it's just everything's like a rush and a panic, and you know that you know how you want to be. Like, you know, you want to be in this like creative flow, and you're like, how do some people do that? And yet it feels like everything's happening to me. It feels like everything's rushed and last minute and in a panic. Come and do coaching. Like, get these tools, practice them, get us rewiring your brain together, and just knowing that like doing this work over 6 months, like, well, the changes happen so quickly. That's the amazing thing. And the 6 months just gives so much time to like practice and bed it in and weave in other tools as well. So then you leave with this like amazing toolbox that you can use at any point in any situation, that you know it doesn't matter how many emails you have. It doesn't matter how many client calls you have. It doesn't matter like what is happening externally. You know that you are in charge of your own internal experience. And whatever has happened, you can bring yourself back to you, back to your flowiness, and back to the creativity, and back to being like, oh my gosh, everything is like moving and life is flowing in the way that I always knew it could. And like I felt like I could, and I've had glimpses of, and it's just being like, this is just going to be how things are for you. So if that sounds like something you're like, oh my gosh, I want that, you too. It's amazing. Honestly, like these tools will change your life and they stay with you for life. You can't unlearn these things. Like once you have them, then you can like take them on, and it's just like, oh, it just makes every day just so much more magical, because it's like things can happen, things will always happen in life. And it's like, yeah, but I know that I'm good, and I know that I can choose my own experience, and I can choose and create the things that happen in my life because I get to control that. And processing through and being with our feelings, that is one of the tools to that. So just know that it's safe to just be present with however you're feeling. Nothing's gone wrong. It's totally normal. Okay. Hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of the day, an amazing weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Mwah.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. If this was helpful, please hit subscribe and leave a review. This helps get this work in the hands of more purposeful people. That is, more people creating bigger, scarier goals, and making an even bigger impact in the world. And if you want to take this work deeper and work with me directly, head to the show notes and I've put all of the information there. If you've got any questions or if there's anything you're like, ooh, I'd love you to talk about that on the pod, please just get in touch. I love hearing from you guys. And I'll see you next time in the Scary Goals Club.